Welcome to Triple M NRL Daily. It's on a Wednesday, and we've got a very, very special crew for you today. Charlie White here, and I'm joined, as always, by Luke Keary. How are you, Luke?
Good, mate. How are you? Recovered? Everything's
Mate, I'm back to normal, yeah.
Any jet lag?
No, not really, mate. I fell asleep early last night, but nah, I'm ready. I'm firing. What about yourself?
I'm good, mate. I was on the Matty Johns flight.
Yeah.
Back from San Fran, which was fun. But
So business class for you then, or no?
no, bumped.
Yeah.
I got bumped. Matty got bumped.
Yeah,
Matty got put back up, and I got to stay in premium.
Yeah, we'll find out more about that later because I hear there's a blow up there. But we're joined today by the one and only rugby league guru. Thank you for joining us today, mate.
Thanks for having me, mate. Keen to make my debut.
Yeah.
Been a while coming. I was on my flight home the other day. I sat next to an American lady and she said, "Oh, I applied for an upgrade to business." I said, "The Knights and the Bulldogs are in there. You want to be in premium, trust me. Miss me with that."
How was Vegas for you though, Guru?
I loved it. I had an unreal time. I think the NRL just ups it every single year. And yeah, every year I go, it just gets better. The English fans, geez, they add a lot to it.
Yeah, they're
They're
amazing.
unreal.
Like, okay, that song, I love it. Little respect.
You both been there. Have you been there all 3 years, Charlie?
I've been there each 3 years,
Which
yeah.
best year?
I think I had the most fun this year, if I'm completely honest.
Yeah.
I had an unreal time.
Depends like what sort of style of Vegas you want, because I did it sober this time round, so it was
No,
different.
just
from,
in terms of how they set it, like how they ran it.
Yeah, I think it was amazing. I think the 4 games in year 2 was one too many,
Yep.
especially the fact that the girls was a blowout. Like that sort of took a bit of a sting out of the day. This year was 3 games. The English fans, you need the English fans there. Like you have to have that. Like because people are talking about, oh, three games was too long because the crowd was a bit empty towards the end of the last game. But I think you need that English game.
You know, so I was in a bar with Wade Graham after, and all these English fans were there, and they said we had to leave. The beers were 20 US.
Yeah.
They said we wanted to stay, but after 4 hours, they'd had enough.
There should be like if you buy a certain number of beers, you start getting a deduction after every
Yeah.
beer. So your first beer is 20.
percentage off.
Percentage off, look after the Poms. But no, it was amazing. But we've got to talk, obviously, we've got to move away from Vegas now because there's so much rugby league happening. This opening round's incredible. Like there's just so many fantastic games. Before we get to all that, though, let's talk Zach Lomax. Now, Guru, you were asking us just before we came on if it was the result we expected.
Yep.
Was it the result you expected?
Not at all. I half expected him to not play against Parramatta in round 1, and then I just sort of thought Parramatta would go, okay, we've spent enough time on a guy that doesn't want to be here. Let's focus on who does want to be here. I almost wonder, boys, if there was text messages and emails coming out. I wonder if someone just went, nah, there's things I don't want out there. I'll call it a day here because, I didn't expect it to end that abruptly the way it did. What about you guys?
Well, it's just a messy situation. Like we've been talking how long? 3-4 months now. So I sat down this morning. I was like, where are we at here? Parramatta, they've won the moral battle, they've won the public opinion battle, and they've won the legal battle out of this whole thing. But now they're at a point they've had the ball in their court for the last 3 or 4 months, and now that board, Matt Beach, Sarantinos, they got to sit there and make a commercially strategic decision. Right? You've got an employee, an asset that's worth a lot of money. Do you take 0 from him, morally stand on your heels and go nothing, or like the figures that have been thrown around, 750. One of the journos before was saying Melbourne were willing to put up $1 million. They paid Lomax's legal fees $250,000. They paid Zach's legal fees for this.
Wow.
So that they're at a point now where the ball is it's about to go into Zach's court, right? Because Parramatta, he's worth $750 to $1 million of cash to them, which they can spend however they want, not on the salary cap. We know that. Does that board sit there and go, okay, like let's push every bit of value out of him in this next month? But then Zach can turn around and go, no, I'll go to rugby union here, and that $750 is now worth 0.
It would be such a shame if he does go to rugby union because he's an absolute talent. And I'm starting to feel a bit for Zach Lomax, if I'm being honest, because the Eels have benefited out of this. They've been able to get his money off the books and bring in Jonah Pezzett and Brian Kelly. Now it's like, why are we letting this extreme talent leave the game, just even though a fair offer's been sent towards Parramatta?
Yeah, well, Volandi's made that point pre-game in Vegas where he said, I've spoken to both parties. I wanted them to go in with a can-do attitude to get it done. And we know as a game, we want Zach, but the issue is it is Parramatta's decision and it's solely their decision. Now, do they want to make a competitive decision, a commercial decision, or a moral decision? And that's up to Matt Beach, the chairman, to sit there with his executives and go, where are we at? Do we need the money, or are we just so against him, or are we so against Melbourne? Because I can't believe another club hasn't come. Like, what's that say about this whole thing? Not one other club has even come in to have a crack.
Well, I think the big thing would be Melbourne find themselves in such a unique position. I would imagine salary cap wise, they're sitting on a mozza there between Eli Katoa, Ryan Pappenhausen, Nass. They haven't really brought anyone in. So I'm not sure how many clubs would be sitting in a position that they actually could bring him in for the sort of money that he demands. Realistically, let me ask you this, boys: if it wasn't Melbourne, if it was the West Tigers, is he playing there next week?
I think he probably is.
I think he is.
Only the Parramatta execs could answer that decision, but you get the feeling, and there is a lot of history with these two clubs, obviously.
09.
Yep.
And it's turned messier now with the court case, but I get the feeling.
I reckon he'd be playing.
Maybe he would be if it's a Titans.
Yep.
A
Even if
West
it's a
Tigers,
Dragons,
a
if it was going back there, I reckon
Newcastle.
Parramatta go, yep, see ya.
Yeah. Do you reckon it is done and dusted, or do you think next week we could be reading a report that Lomax has joined the Storm?
I just have this sneaking suspicion that after round one, something happens.
At Melbourne or just...
Well, they're the only club. I can't believe they're the only club, but I just have a feeling that money, and I know their leagues clubs makes ridiculous amount of money, but at some point that executive team goes, let's push his value to the absolute limit in the last minute, and then flick the switch and take the cash and get him out of here.
Yeah, I still reckon he's a very good chance to land there in round 2.
Yeah, I hope so. But let's talk the Zach Lomax Cup then. Eels v Storm round 1. Storm, everyone knows the history of round 1. I mean, they've done it for a long, long time now, winning that opening game of the season. First of all, I want to talk about Eli Katoa, who's obviously not playing this game, but he spoke late last week and said that he's aiming to get back playing first grade, which is just fantastic news because some of the reports at times last year didn't sound amazing. I want to ask you, Luke, about that relationship with your back rower. Jerome Hughes is going to be without Eli Katoa. You saw the two of them link up for so many tries last year. How important is that relationship as a back with your back rower?
Yeah, I was very lucky. I had John Sutton at the start of my career, then I had Boyd Cordner and then Angus Crichton. It was, in terms of other than your other half and the hooker, it is the most important. Like, they protect you. They help you so much when you're attacking the line. And Eli Katoa, in my opinion, was the best back rower in the competition last year. He probably wins Clive Churchill if Melbourne win that game. And it's going to take them time, a little bit of adjustment. Joe Chan or Lasardi will end up on each edge. Do we know what edge they're playing, Keary?
I believe Chan's going to be on the right, Lasati on the left.
So Chan will end up there with Hughes, who been in and out of the side over the last couple of years, but it's going to take a little bit of adjustment. Eli Katoa was doing things like that ball he threw in that grand final to cut out that no other back row in the competition is going to be doing things like that. So it's going to be an adjustment period.
It's a really good point you make, like just obviously his career, at the crossroads it's at right now. But I think everyone forgets, like if he made a break in the last few minutes of that game, it's 2-on-1 to Pappy. Reece Walsh knocked it down. If that doesn't happen, Ellie's a Clive Churchill medalist. Is Pappy still playing if he scores the match-winning try in a grand final? Like, the optics change everything completely if that moment goes the other way.
Yeah. You like the Storm though in this one, I assume, Luke?
I do, but there's going to be how much feelings going to be in this game, honestly. I like Para this year just to go down there and beat Melbourne. They haven't lost in how many
23.
years? 23 years. I think Melbourne end up getting it done, but I reckon we're going to see a few little fireworks.
I think it ends
Early
here.
on.
I think Parramatta go down there and do them.
Wow. Oh, really? Wow.
No, it's essentially full strength without Josh Adokar. Just have a look at the back row. They finished that grand final with Eli Katoa, Sean Bloor, Trent Leary. All three of them are gone. Lasardi, Chan, Alec McDonald. They've now had to move Nick Meaney to the wing. You got the centre that's come from Rugby Union, who I still think he's a little bit untested, Moses Leo. So, mate, with Mitch Moses in the side, I think Parramatta can beat anyone on their day. And I think this, like Lomax, all this stuff, I think it plays into the hands of inspiring Parramatta a little bit more.
Does that mean you think they're a top 8 team this year, Parrot?
Mate, funnily enough, I actually don't have them in my top 8. I've got them 9th at the moment.
Right.
But I just think with Mitch Moses in the side, I reckon they'll do them. I really do.
Yeah.
Melbourne, where do you have Melbourne this year?
I've got them at around 5th or 6th.
I love this. Every year everyone writes them off.
Yeah.
Every year. Not writes them off, but thinks,
But I think
is it
this
coming?
year-
Is it coming?
I think this year is different to any year we've seen before. Like, we've seen transitions, but we've never seen them lose this many players. Even losing Coates in the lead up to the season is enormous for them. And, as far as I'm concerned, depending on how it all plays out. I was picturing Zach Lomax being there for this game as well. So it's a huge losses there.
Yeah, you both brought up Zach Lomax there. As a player, Luke, that this off-field drama, it's really between the board of the Storm and the execs of Parramatta. As a player, does that seep down to you guys?
Not at all. Honestly, Melbourne would have been preparing the whole time for not having him. If he comes, it's a bonus. They got Warbrick there and Coates. Obviously, losing Coates is massive, but there's no way those players would have been thinking, oh, God, I hope we get Zach for round one. Like, those Melbourne boys are fine. And we see it every year. There's names in here that no one knows, right? Moses Leo, Lasardi, Moali comes over, and I guarantee you by the end of the year, they're all absolute guns, and Craig's turned them into just like regular first graders. It's just Cooper Clark. Like, it happens every single year with them. But the Lomax stuff would not affect either side at all. This is a total board level situation.
Have they still got the best spine in the comp with Falongo at fullback?
Easy. He will.
Easy, you reckon?
I believe. I think, mate, he's electric. Like, he's obviously not as good as Paps, but by the end of the season, I reckon they'll be talking about him in that top echelon.
Yeah, I've always been a big fan of Sue. I think he's a little bit erratic for what I know of Melbourne football is my only concern. But yeah, I mean, based on their track record, it's so hard to push back on.
Yeah. Now we want to talk back-to-back because, Luke, you're part of the Roosters that went back-to-back, obviously 2018 and 2019, and Penrith Panthers, they won 4 comps in a row. But it's very rare in the NRL, or those are the only 2 teams that have done it. What are the challenges the Broncos are going to face this year?
Well, they've faced their first challenge, going to England, going over there. They obviously lost and they've had to come back, and that probably won't feel it this first round, but you do feel it. Like, it's a big. So the first thing you get back to preseason late. They probably, a couple of them would have come in pre-Chrissy. They come in Jan. You're a little bit stunned. They look after you a little bit. I don't know if
they didn't at the Broncos. I can tell you that much.
Madge would have. It's just not the same. Like, it's not the same build up as if you'd lost the year before. You're back in November, December. You're on. You're chasing something. It is so, like, I can't explain to people how hard it is. And then in my mind, how Penrith did it 4 years. Like, it is just unbelievable. And they're up against it. Like, I seen what Cooper Cronk's come out and said about him, and he likes him, but it is just going to be so hard. A lot of those guys, like Reece Walsh had his best season ever, Katoni Staggs best season ever, Shibasaki best season ever. Can you go up again? You know what I mean? Like, can you go again? And it's very rare that players just go step, step, step. It's going to be tough for them. They're going to go through different patches. There's going to be noise around Madge the whole year. We all know that. Yeah. They'll be there at the end. I don't think they'll be at the tip-top end of the table, but they'll be there. It's just going to be a matter of, can Ezra Mann have his best year? Can Reece do it again? Can Reynolds survive the season?
I think they're one of the hardest defending premiers to actually predict what's going to happen. Because, they won the comp. It was incredible. But finals, they came from behind in every single game. Yeah. Like, they lost to the Raiders 3 times in that game and won it once. Like, it could have been over there, realistically. It was unbelievable how it all played out. Whether they're able to do that again or not, I'm not too sure. What do you think, like Payne Haas leaving, the impact of that? I mean, it can go both ways. I've got Adam Reynolds retiring, Payne Haas. Is that something that's going to lift them up, or are you a little bit concerned about that decision being made?
It can go both ways. So in 14, Sam decided to leave. In 13, Sam Burgess. And then Ben Teo decided to leave, and it kind of drove the squad. They knew this is our last chance with him, whereas Brisbane have already won that. Even Cooper was saying he was concerned that someone that's won a comp then leaves the next year. It can go both ways. It can be, hey, Adam and Payne are leaving, let's go for them. Or it can be like, oh, we won last year. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of noise. There's too much. Things get really difficult at stages, but there's a lot rest. Like, you look at I like Brisbane, right? But you look at their pack, Carrigan and Haas have to carry a massive load. They're both going to play State of Origin. Carrigan was over at the Ashes series. Payne played for Samoa. They've had a lot going on. Payne's played a lot of footy. There is just going to be a lot of challenges for them.
And, we said the same thing last year. Their back row worried me all last season. Their depth in their pack worried me all last season. But the argument against it is it's not going to get harder than last year. Realistically, what they had to do, it's not going to be harder than that. So, yeah, I don't think they'll be in the grand final at the end of the year. I still think they'll be a top 8, so I think they'll probably be a top 4 side. But yeah, I think the back-to-back is going to be a little bit too much of a challenge for them.
Take nothing away from that grand final, right? Because they were very good. Do they score a point without Reece on the field? Honestly,
No, let's go through the whole final series.
Do they score a point without Reece on the field?
There's no way they beat Canberra without Reece. There's no way they beat Penrith. He came up with a play at the end, and then the grand final. I still think it's the best individual performance in the grand final we've ever seen.
Yeah. Both ends. He saved like 3 tries.
But the counter to that
he was involved in every try.
He was involved in every try on both sides.
So, like, can you do that? I mean, they know they can't do that again, but can they find a way to?
Yeah, and the counter to that is there'll be Brisbane fans listening going, hot tip, boys. He's still playing.
He is, and he could do it again.
Yeah.
Are you worried about the noise around Madge and how much that is going to impact them? And now they dealt with this a lot last year, but the noise is a lot more aggressive this off-season. And you talk about that 2-week Toowoomba camp especially, and there's stories that, Payne Haas walked out on the Army sergeants and whatnot, and all that stuff's bubbling away. Is it going to impact the playing group?
It can. It can. It honestly depends on how united that leadership group is. Because once it seeps in, the younger boys, it's just whatever. It's noise. It comes in. They don't really care. They're just living their life. Those older boys, and especially Reynolds and Payne, Carrigan, Staggs will be in there. Reece would now be in there. Ezra would probably have a say. Ben Hunt. If it starts to get to them, that's when it can just go straight through your organisation.
That's the crazy thing about last year too. Like before the final, 6 weeks before, it looked like they were going to miss the 8. And that was just, that chat was starting to peak. And you win games of football and everyone shuts up all of a sudden. And it just snowballed from there.
Yeah. The Raiders are taking on Manly in round 1, and it's the Jamal Fogarty Cup. He's left the Canberra Raiders and he's gone to his new club. By the way, the NRL has done an incredible job with scheduling this opening round of footy. Like,
it's a cracker.
They've just nailed every single game has something about it. But in this one, I mean, first of all, I want to ask both of you how hard it's going to be for the Ethans. It's going to be the youngest halves combination in the game, Ethan Strange and Ethan Sanders. Guru, you know a lot about reserve grade and in the junior footy pathways. You've seen a lot of Ethan Sanders. Do you think they're going to struggle this year?
I think they've got too much of a good forward pack to not be okay. I think they'll be all right. I don't think they'll be minor premiers. I think they'll be sort of somewhere in the 8. I've actually got them just missing on my 8. I've probably got them in about 10th.
Wow.
The closer we get to the season,
can you clip that up and send that to Ricky, please?
The closer we get to the season, the more nervous I am about it. I will say this, and I'm keen to get your thoughts, Kez. Ethan Sanders didn't trial. He didn't have a single trial, which I find for a young half coming into a side bizarre. The other thing is, all reports are that Ethan Strange, they're going to move him to the right side.
He is going to the right.
So new combinations to not trial, I find that bizarre. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I reckon it's more Ricky's confident. He knows what he's got at his disposal. And even last year, I feel like he knew what was going to happen or how that team was going to perform. And I reckon he's gone. They had a big year last year. They were really disappointing end of the year. And he's gone, I'm not risking any of them. I think he knows what he's got. And a couple of good judges that I know down there have said Ethan Sanders is an upgrade on what they had last year, which is no knock on Fogarty because he was outstanding, but they love this kid. And I asked them why they bought Black, and it's purely as a backup option.
I think that's the other thing to note as well with Kobe Black. There's been all this talk about his injury and stuff. I spoke to him a few weeks ago and he said, it's not as bad as they think. He was named in New South Wales Cup yesterday. So he's in and around there too. So, the old iron sharpens iron too. I like that for Sanders.
One for you, Guru. Noah Martin. Obviously, Matty Nicholson there, Zach Hosking. Where has he come from?
Yeah, mate, I'm very surprised. In hindsight, you look back at it, in the trial, he played on the right edge. And I remember sitting there going, why would you do that? Why are we? Like, it's going to be Matty Nicholson. Hudson Young's going to be on the left. But mate, by the sounds of it, he's genuinely won the job. Like, Matty Nicholson is injured, apparently, but he's been named in Cup. He's playing down there. You've got Hudson Young that'll be on the left. He'll be on the right. Zach Hoskins played as a middle all off season. Even when Nicholson got injured in their trial the other day, they kept Hoskins in the middle. So, mate, I think he's out and out won the spot. And him in New South Wales Cup over the last years, he's been tremendous. Last season, he played 19 games, 19 line breaks and 15 tries for a back rower. Crazy. Over the last 2 years in Cup, he's played 38 games. He scored 22 tries. New South Wales Cup edge back rower in the team of the year last season. I think he's a big one to watch down there. He's got Ricky written all over him.
Do you think any of this is the combination between Sanders and Noah Martin? I mean, I assume a lot of those tries would have been put on by Sanders on that right-hand side. Do you think that could have something to do with it?
It could be, yeah. It could be, definitely. Ricky might... Well, they've obviously trained this way the whole preseason.
But Sanders on the left, isn't he?
Oh,
You got
Sam's
Ethan
going to play on
Strange
the
in the
left.
right. That's what I've been.
Right,
Have you
okay.
heard that or
he
not?
is, yeah.
Wow,
I
wow.
I spoke to Strangey and he said he's gone to the right. He said he's comfortable with it.
Yeah.
He played a lot of right centre and right half.
He played right centre at the Roosters back in
coming
the
through
day,
the Roosters, so he's more than comfortable with it. Sanders left foot kicker, but yeah, I don't know that he's obviously earned his spot here. Like even Tomoko goes down to reserves. Sebastian, Chris,
And Simi
goes up from the
Sasangi.
start. They are deep. They are deep there. Like
Yeah.
Joel Carbone is at the Roosters now, the recruitment officer. He was down there and helped Ricky and the club build this stable of what they've done, and they've done an outstanding job. I still remember years ago, Ricky said how hard it is to get players down here to Canberra, and to what they've done to that club is like it's a testament to them, the depth they've got.
Yeah, it's incredible. There's another guy, Joe Roddy, who's coming through.
He was unbelievable in that trial.
I was sitting on the sideline for that trial, and it was just amazing watching him move. He looks like Hudson Young 2.0. Now, boys, we've got to talk another one of these incredible opening round fixtures. It's Josh Hannay up against his former club, the Cronulla Sharks. It's at Shark Park. The Titans taking on the Sharks. Now, this game is fascinating. First of all, let's talk Josh Hannay. He was the assistant coach at Sharks for a number of years, and he's going up against his former clubs. How quickly will he got the secrets out? How quickly will he be saying, this is how you target Hines? This is what
Straight
you do
away.
to Trindle."
Straight away. Honestly, he wouldn't give like personal things out. Or maybe actually. But no, once you're gone, you're gone. And he worked with the attack at Cronulla. He would be giving everything to Gold Coast. And obviously a few things changed. I think Daniel Holdsworth's now in charge of the attack at Cronulla, but he will be giving absolutely everything. This is his shot he's been waiting for 10 years. So, and I love both teams, to be honest. I think what Gold Coast did in the trials and what he's done in the off-season, getting Cooper Byer to re-sign, Tino to re-sign, Jaden Campbell to re-sign, there's obviously the playing group there believes what's happening. I think Grubb was talking about the other day, the Hannay way. They're all talking about it. And then on the other side, I've said it, and I'm hoping it's right, but I think they're primed to go, the Sharks. Like, they've fallen short a couple of times. All those boys at a really good age where they understand, they've all come through together, that SG Ball team. I think they're ready to go. But I like both of them, and they will be literally giving him everything this week.
I think the Sharkies are sort of at the apex of where they're going to go. I think right now, this year is where it's all been leading up to. Like, I think they've managed their salary cap better than anyone in the competition over the last few years. For Mulatalo, Cam McInnes, all these guys to stay. They add Adam Fanua-Blake. Colquhoun's just re-signed for 4 years. You would have to think after this season, it's going to have to take its toll. They're going to have to start to lose guys. So I think they're sort of at the apex of what they're trying to do. You mentioned there, like, the coach going up to the Titans with a bit of Sharks information. I remember talking to the Knights boys last week, and one of them said to me, our concern is that Blake Green's up there now. He knows KP inside out. They didn't touch KP, right? So he can get near him. So, and I think that's credit to Justin Holbrook as well. But yeah, it'd be an interesting watch. And I know trials are trials. You forget about them very quickly. But I just felt like we saw a bit of a different attitude from the Gold Coast Titans, especially defensively for me in the trials. And I don't think the Titans as an organisation have optically looked this good in probably since 2010. I really like what I'm saying there. Guys are choosing to stay there even though they're playing out of position. I think keeping Cooper Byer is enormous for that club.
You've got them in your 8, don't you? Like the Titans?
I reckon they're going to be there. I reckon they're going to be in that little fight, and I reckon they're there. The loss of Jaden Campbell's disappointing because I loved how they looked in the trial, but I just have a feeling that he's going to get them tough and hard and gritty the same way the Sharks are, but he's also got that attacking mindset where he can, because the big question was obviously Brimson and how does that work with Kinney? He's the man who can do it because he worked really well with Trindle and Hines, and they're both kind of not really those dominant sevens. I just think he can sort that out, but they've got to become tougher, and they showed it in the trials. I know it's trials, but they showed it. They're probably a couple of players off, but I think they might be that team that just surprises everyone.
2 huge ticks for Josh Hannay already. The first one, Tina Fasul-Malawi, and the loss of all those clauses. Like, I don't think that can be understated how big that is. And also getting Cooper Byer to backflip on the Storm and stay with the Titans.
That I can't explain how big that, honestly.
Yeah.
Because how do they know? There's something that's gone on there where those players, Jaden Campbell also, because he would have been able to upgrade his contract at Perth, for them to go, no, we believe. They obviously believe in this guy, whatever they're doing. Like Tino would know what a winning environment looks like. He's been in Queensland, played under Craig Bellamy. Something's happened there, or he's implemented stuff where they're all on board.
Because, mate, Cooper Bye would have had a conversation with Craig Bellamy, and he would have said, do you want to play outside Munster or Hughes? Both spots are available if you come down here. And he's gone, I'm going to stay at the Titans, who have 2 fullbacks in the half. It's incredible. Like, how Hannay's put this all together in such a short amount of time and impressed so many of them. I personally, I thought Tino was gone. I thought he'd be at Melbourne for sure. We're over there. I was over there for the Ashes last year, and, mate, Harry Grant and Tino were inseparable. I thought, this is done. He's going to Melbourne without a doubt. For him to stay at the Titans, when I first heard it, I thought, that's insane. But credit to the Titans. Unbelievable effort.
Where are they on your ladder?
I've got them in about 11, 12 sort of range.
That's a decent improvement for them, though.
Mate, I think it's going to be one of the best competitions we've seen.
Yeah.
I think you're going to have very good teams in 12, 13 this year.
Well, I tipped the Dragons for the spoon, and then I was sitting there watching the game. I'm like, oh, if they're the spoon winners, then this comp's insane.
Yes.
Now, Guru, this list of young players, young stars from this weekend, who have you got?
Yeah, there's a few to go through here, and it's interesting now because you've got this 6-man bench. You don't actually know who's going to get on the field and whatnot. But for me, the first one from the Melbourne Storm, his name came up before, Cooper Clark, under 19s prop last year, very talented kid. They've actually been flirting with him as an edge player in the trials. I think he's an out-and-out middle, but they have been sort of toying with him on the edges. So we'll see how that plays out, but he's one to watch there.
He's in 15.
Yeah, jersey 15, I think he is. Big fella coming off the bench, very talented kid. Another one that's on their bench is Preston Conn. He was Jersey Flag Player of the Year last year. He's a back rower. If I was to, I probably don't think he'll get on the field just looking at that 6-man bench, but he's one that I think could really jump out of the ground. He was the captain of their Jersey Flag side that won Jersey Flag last year. Very talented kid, right edge back rower. I wouldn't be surprised if he does be the long-term guy, depending on what happens with Eli Katoa, obviously. But I think he'll be a long-term back rower there. You mentioned Noah Martin before. As I said, his starts 38 games, 22 tries in Cup. He's played a few games there, but I think the big one is he's beaten out Zach Hossing and Matty Nicholson.
Yeah, that's massive, isn't it?
It's huge, mate. Absolutely huge. He's already played some first-grade games. Big, flowing mullet. Love the look of him. And the other one, Kalani Going, who, funnily enough in this chat, I think he's 28 years old.
Yeah.
Come over from the New Zealand Warriors, got New South Wales Cup Player of the Year last year. I can't fathom why he hasn't played more first grade. The way the Penrith bench has been named, I think they've got Tom Jenkins and another winger on the bench. So I'm assuming Kalani Going's actually in the 17 to play week to week. Versatile, can play middle, edge, can play a bit of hooker. I think he'll be a late bloomer that's worth watching at the Penrith Panthers this year.
A classic Penrith Panthers. They'll pluck someone in, turn them into an elite player.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
They rated that Warriors New South Wales Cup team, didn't they?
Well, because Ivan's been watching him every week because he's watching Jet. He's just picked and choose. They got him. They got Toby Crosby, who hasn't been named
That
here. A
makes
very talented
sense.
front row. Mate, I was talking
Freddie
to
Lussick came over.
I was talking to a mate yesterday. I was talking to Jamie Soward yesterday, and he said, mate, with what's going on between Penrith and the Warriors, keep an eye on Mitch Barnett.
Yeah.
That would make total sense because obviously you got the Warriors. They've got Jet over there. They've got a few guys that I think will probably eventually return. Wouldn't surprise me if Toby Crosby eventually returns. There's a bit of an exchange going on there. Keep an eye on Barnett going there, I reckon.
Andrew Webster and Ivan Cleary got a great relationship as well, the two of them. I think the Penrith win the comp this year as well.
I agree.
They'll go very close.
Yeah. Any others? That was it?
No, mate, there really wasn't too many. We obviously saw Setu 2 make his debut the other night in Vegas. I thought he handled it well and truly handled himself.
Well.
In fact, when he went off the field, you could see a difference on that edge, I thought. But no, outside of that, they're sort of the only young guns that have been named. I think we'll see Makasini obviously next week, which will be very exciting again for the Tigers. But those are the ones for me this weekend.
Fantastic. Now, before we go, boys, one to the Chookies. They're going up against the Warriors.
Yep.
That game, an absolute classic again, Friday, 6 o'clock. I just can't wait for footy to be on a Friday again. Just kick back. You got your Thursday night sorted, Friday night sorted. It's so exciting. But the Roosters, now Cheika is officially part of the assistant coach. Now, in the past, he's been more of a consultant. I think a couple of years ago, he was an assistant for the whole season. Is that right?
He came in COVID 2020-ish. He spent, I'll say, 18 months with us. Basically, as a consultant, he wasn't doing anything too hands-on, but he was at training every day, helping just doing bits and pieces. I think he was learning a lot for him as he went into that Lebanon gig. He's gone away. Like he's very much like Craig. If he talks, everyone stops and goes, "What's this bloke got to say?" And then they go and do it. So he's upskilled himself from when he got there in November. I still remember his first session. He stood in front of the boys. He's like, Righto, boys, this may not be right, but like this is the drill we're doing. And Zaydu, if anyone's got anything for me, tell me. Like he's saying that to these young boys. To now, when you go down to training and you watch him, like he walks around with you can tell this guy's got a big presence around him. He's coached at Leinster, Heineken Cup champs, stud fronts A. They made the final, top 14 semi-finals. Waratahs 2014 champions. The Wallabies, they made that World Cup final, was coach of the year. And then he went on to Argentina, got him into a World Cup semi-final, ended up coming fourth. Last year was at Leicester, who were doing nothing, went over there for a year, took them to the final. They got beaten in the final in the last minute. He speaks 4 or 5 different languages. Like he's one of the most impressive humans, nicest guys that I've ran into, and he has added a whole lot to that crew. It's been interesting there. They've had a lot of Roosters guys there in the coaching staff over the last few years. So to have someone completely out of the box come there, I think it's been a breath of fresh air for Robbo and the players. And I wouldn't be surprised if Chamis just picks up the phone at some point and has a chat to him, because he's already expressed that he wants to coach in the NRL. I think he had a big crack at the para job when Jason Riles got it. And he's taken this gig. This is not from him, but I believe he's taken this gig as a stepping stone for him to try and become an NRL coach.
Geez, your Roosters know your way around coaching staff, don't you? Absolutely. Remember when Brad Fittler retired? He became the kicking coach. Ricky Stewart was the head coach, the best boot we've ever seen.
We do it out for the love. We're not getting paid for it.
Oh, sure. Trent Robinson, as a coach of coaches, as your time as a player, what sort of like influences he as a coach on the other coaches? Because even you think of like Matt King, he's really kicked on, and now he's doing Origin as well. Well, how special is he at that side of the game?
I think you see those really great coaches and you watch their coaching trees. Like Tim Sheen's had all those guys come from Canberra. Ivan's started to got one now. Bellamy's got a massive tree. Robbo's starting to get a bit of a tree going. They're the ones that they invest in their coaches. They help those coaches become better people, better coaches. So Robbo's building that up. And he's gone. It's a left field decision, right? To bring a rugby. This isn't just like, we'll just bring another guy from rugby league in. He's gone a little bit left field with it. And from what I've seen, he's added a lot to the group.
Yeah. And an assistant coach salary for Cheika's fine because he's minted. He's absolutely minted. He's made millions in fashion, which is so bizarre.
He's one of the most interesting people you'll ever meet. Like he's got businesses in Europe.
Yeah.
Coached all these teams, speaks French. I think he speaks Italian or Spanish, speaks Arabic. Like he's an unbelievable dude. He lives everywhere. He's like a little gypsy, just all around the world.
What's the fashion stuff you just mentioned?
So he has this fashion business that he started where it's like he started with his wife. And
he worked in retail.
Yeah, worked in retail.
Wow.
It's worth millions and millions. Like he's made far more money out of this fashion business than he has anywhere close to what he's made in coaching.
He said he coaches just he loves it so much. Like it's not about money for him, right? He said he'll never take a job because he needs it for the money. It's all about like where his passion is at that time.
I'd be too smart for rugby league. Just quietly checked.
The big thing for Roosters in round one is obviously DCE and Sam Walker. You've spoken a bit already on this podcast, Luke, about it, but opening round and what you've seen in the trials, how do you think it's going to go?
Well, Sam looked like he's going to win the Dally M. Honestly, they've looked great at training. There's been a little bit of teething issues, obviously, with what's going to happen. But I think I said it. I think I've said it to you, Charlie, before. Daly has not come there to lead the try assist column and line break assists and run around setting people up and everything like that. Daly came there to do exactly what he did in that trial, and that's kind of play second fiddle to Sam. He'll have to step up at certain times. He did 90% of the kicking in yardage, and then it let Sam express himself over on that left-hand side. So Daly will be judged at the end of the season in August and September, because there'll be moments when people look over to him and say, what do we do now, mate, when we're in trouble? And he's the one that's going to have to come up with the answer. But they spoke about the other day, the boys, they're going to share that around. Like Teddy, the way he plays too, he's going to jump in at first receiver. It's going to take Daly, I think, a few months to get used to. They gave different things we've spoken about, like total the opposite, the way Manly play, things out of yardage and stuff like that. So it's going to take a little bit of time. It took Cooper.
Yep.
It took Cooper 6 months. Like there were times there at the end where even that 2018, we were like, fuck, this is not really working at different times. So it's not just going to be like that. But, mate, Sam's got the ability to walk out and have a Dally M season this year.
I spoke to Cooper in Vegas about it, actually, and he sort of said, Sam's one of those one-on-one. He's a unicorn, essentially. And he sort of said the thing that DCE has to do is not teach him anything new. He said just raise his floor. He's got the ceiling. It's just you. He said that he wants to see DCE just lift the standard of Walker's poor games, and that'll be enough. That'll be all he needs to do.
That's got nothing to do with our daily
Yep.
plays. It's just his influence, temperament, experience, which is exactly what Cooper brought to us.
Yeah.
Is this a 1 year premiership window for them with, the DCE maybe only playing this year?
Well, what you've got DCE this year, you got Angus Crichton leaving,
Yep.
Mark leaving.
Yeah. Teddy's getting older.
Yeah. I mean, who knows who they go and sign in the middle of the year,
Bit of
but
salary cap space there.
yeah, I think this is the best side they've probably put out on paper, probably since you guys won the comp, realistically.
Yeah, it's a great side. Those young boys have come on a lot. 1 year window, maybe. Depends probably what Daly does as some young boys coming through there, but they won't be looking any further than this season.
Yeah. I didn't have this on the rundown, boys, but just going to add it in. Jai Arrow. Now, I'm not sure if this is positive or negative news, the statement that's come out, but he's basically going through now a 6-week treatment program with the doctor to try and get this nerve injury right. The stories that were coming out the last few weeks sounded pretty grim, to be honest. The injury sounds a bit similar to what Flegler has gone through. 6 weeks is what he's going to go through now of his treatment, and fingers crossed something happens. It'd be a big loss for South, though, Luke.
Huge. Obviously, Brandon Smith going down. Do we know how long he's?
It's a moderate calf strain, so that is between 3 to 6 weeks. So he'll only miss a few weeks of footy.
I think Adam Elliott went down this week
He
too.
did. Calf injury.
The Jai Arrow ones, he's their most experienced forward, and they're not heavy in that pack. Obviously, bringing Payne in next year, it's going to look totally different. But they need him, and we saw what happened last year when people started going down. He was one of the ones that kind of survived, and then he picked up that shoulder in the last month. But they lose him. They're not in massive trouble, but he's just a huge loss for that footy team.
Yeah, I get a bit of a shiver down my spine every time I see a South injury, and they're already starting to stack up. Seriously concerning.
Yeah, and they've made changes to their strength and conditioning department, and you're like, what's going on? There's conspiracy theories about the turf at Heffron Park.
They've had that many soft tissues.
Yeah, it's terrible. And then even during the off season, like Latrell Mitchell had issues with his calf, and I think for feeders, he's had more ankle issues, but still, it's worrying already.
Yeah, and you have a look. Like I often wonder if there is something to it with the turf there, because sometimes they're down at Burrows at La Perouse training. Sometimes they're at Redfern. They've gone through a few S&Cs over the last few months. I wonder if there is something to it. I don't know if it's a curse at Redfern Oval that they left or whatever it might be, but I think the evidence is stacking up.
They need to get some witches down there, don't they? Do some special curse, blow some smoke out. And
in 2020 to 2022, there was about 8 or 9 of us at the Roosters that did ACLs. I remember we had like universities coming in trying to do like experiments or whatever they could call it on us to see why.
Yeah.
And it's impossible to know. Turf, strength and conditioner, sports scientist, is it the coach? Is it psychological? Is it physical? Like there's something going. It's not normal.
No.
Obviously, it's not normal, but I don't
It's
know.
insane
San Francisco 49ers, see they built their facility next to the 5G tower or something.
have they had injuries gone up, have they?
Horrendous.
Yeah, it's been a nightmare. Yeah,
like in their last 2 or 3 years. And so much so the Super Bowl teams wouldn't train there because of this. Is it a 5G tower?
Yeah, that's what it is.
5G tower next to
There's a few
the
conspiracies that are all as insane as each other.
The Super Bowl teams wouldn't train.
Yeah, 5G, that caused COVID, didn't it, as well? That's what people say.
Do we go to the same cafe?
Yeah. Boys, thanks so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure, Guru, to have you in for your Triple M NRL daily debut. You've done a fantastic job.
Thanks for having me, boys. Look forward to a few more starts in the future.
Absolutely. And Luke Keary, great to see you as always, my friend.
Thanks, Charlie.